There are some massive crypto airdrop updates for you today. I know I say that a lot, but honestly, this is the mother of all airdrops. Eigenlayer is probably going to be one of the biggest airdrops of 2024, and they just announced their mainnet launches today. So what does this mean for you if you are trying to farm the Eigenlayer airdrop? Well, the token is not currently live and there's no announcement of an actual date when there's going to be the airdrop. However, you might actually have to take action depending on how you are farming the Eigenlayer airdrop. So if you are currently restaking with LRTs, liquid restake tokens like EtherFi or Swell or Kelp or Renzo or any of the other ones, you don't actually need to do anything. However, if you are restaking directly with Eigenlayer, then you will actually need to actively select a validator to delegate your stake to. So now that actual mainnet is live and the active validator set is being selected, in order to be an active restaker, which probably means to continue earning Eigenlayer points, you're going to have to delegate your stake to one of the top 200 operators. Now, according to Eigenlayer, and this makes sense, over the next couple of weeks while they actually get up and running, there's probably going to be high turnover in the top 200. All of these validators are jostling to be included in the active set because if they're not, then they're not actually earning any rewards from validating the network. Now, what this means for those of us that have actually staked directly within the Eigenlayer app and not with an LRT, I've actually done both, so I'm also going to have to select a validator. Now, if you go to their website, there's a section where you can select the validators and you can sort them by TVL descending. And so you can see which ones currently have the most delegated ETH, and probably if you pick one of the current top 10 or 20, it'll be safe. It probably won't get booted from the top 200. However, I also don't think there's a huge rush to do this. You could wait a couple of days, see how things play out, and then choose your validator. There's also some documentation on what it means to delegate your stake, and I'll leave a link to these docs down below in case you need to do this. And then for everybody that is restaking with LRTs, you don't need to worry because they are going to choose the validator set themselves. So you just continue holding your EETH or your Easy ETH or whichever version of the LRT that you have, and you'll still keep accumulating those eigen points, no problem. And then moving forward, obviously this is super bullish. The launch of the mainnet had to precede the launch of the actual token, and that is probably going to happen at some point in the next couple of months. And then speaking of LRTs, EtherFi just announced a new campaign where if you stake additional ETH, new ETH as of today, you earn bonuses for doing so in the ETHFi token, and then also for some reason in the Polyhedra ZK token. So from April 9th today to April 18th, you will earn 1 ETHFi per day plus a little bit of ZK tokens for every 1 ETH that you stake. And obviously that's on top of all the other points and rewards that you get for EtherFi and Eigenlayer. Now the ETHFi token is currently trading at around $5.80 per token. And this program is going to be live for 9 days. So that's $52 over the next 9 days. And since the price of ETH is currently around 3,500, that is about a 1.5% ROI over basically a week. On an annualized basis, that is something like 60 or 70% ROI. I'm not that good at math off the top of my head, but either way, I would say this is a pretty attractive incentive structure, and then obviously also you're earning additional points for the EtherFi airdrop and the Eigenlayer airdrop. So if you still have some ETH that you want to allocate to this, you have an opportunity to do so. And then afterwards, you can do other stuff like bridge the ETH to an L2, use it in DeFi, leverage up on it. So there's lots of options for ways that you can play this. And then speaking of EtherFi, it looks like the Omni network is going to be dropping to EtherFi stakers. So lots happening within the LRT and specifically the EtherFi ecosystem, obviously all across the board. These are going to be some great airdrops for sure. Okay, next up, let's talk briefly about Athena. Now in airdrop 1, if you've already claimed, you should go and check right now to see if you have another allocation claimable, because apparently there was some discrepancies between what people were supposed to be eligible for and what they actually were able to claim last week. And now if you go to the claim page, you might have an additional allocation claimable. So yesterday, I was alerted to this and I went to check, and actually I was able to claim an additional 1,700 ENA tokens, completely unexpected, complete surprise. And so if you were eligible for season 1 of ENA, definitely go right now and check to see if you have any additional tokens just waiting for you to be claimed. And then speaking of ENA tokens, Mantle actually released the conversion rate of M shards to ENA tokens. And so it's apparently 582 M shards to 1 ENA. And this is a separate allocation of the ENA token for people that lock or stake Mantle tokens on the Mantle L2. So I locked up 500 tokens maybe a week ago, and I have 8,000 M shards. And if I divide that by 582, that is 14 ENA tokens. Now this campaign is continuing until April 26th, so obviously that's going to continue ticking up until then. And the TLDR of this is that actually the ROI for staking or locking Mantle tokens is very high. Since the price of the ENA token is trading around $1.22 right now, that's already basically $17 that I've made from locking up that 500 Mantle, which when I do the math is already something like a 2.5% ROI over less than 2 weeks. And this campaign continues to run until, like I said, the end of April. So again, on an annualized basis, the ROI for staking or locking MNT tokens is quite good. All right, next up, let's talk about Saga. So the airdrop is live. You actually claimed it a couple of weeks ago, and today you don't have to do anything. You can go and check your wallet. So if you claimed it in a Kepler wallet, for example, you can go and check and you should see the tokens in there. If you don't see them, you might just need to go into the chain visibility settings and make sure that you've turned on the Saga network so you can see the balance of your tokens. And then aside from that, now that you have the tokens, you can stake them, you can sell them. And also looks like Stride is going to be launching a liquid staked ST Saga token as well. So there's a couple of options on what you can do with it. Now, for me personally, with my small airdrop, I am just going to stake it. You'll notice here that they say there's going to be another loyalty drop for Saga stakers. So to demonstrate your loyalty to Saga post-launch, stake your Saga tokens. Next up, Zero Land has been teasing that the airdrop is going to be happening in April, and they just posted this with the date 29 or the number 29. So I think it's safe to assume that the Zero airdrop is coming on April 29th. 20 days from now. Next up, D-Bridge points are now live. So this is another tokenless bridge that you can use to get assets to and from Solana, Ethereum chains, and also Binance and AVAX. I've spoken about D-Bridge a couple of times on my channel. I included it in my $100 bridge airdrop experiment, and now the point system is live. So they've actually allocated points retroactively based on all of the bridge transactions that you've done until now. And then moving forward, you get additional points based on the amount you spend on transaction fees using the bridge. So as they say here, you get 100 points for every $1 paid in bridge fees to D-Bridge. And so what this means is that you're actually incentivized to do a lot of smaller bridge transactions rather than a few large ones, because there's no actual bonus in the points to bridging 1 ETH versus 0.01 ETH. It's just based on the bridge fees that you pay. So if you want to farm this one, I would say there's still a window of opportunity. I think they'll probably have the point system open for a couple of months and then drop a token. Next up, speaking of point systems, last week Parcel announced the snapshot and the end of season 3, but they also said that 1 week later there was going to be a secondary snapshot and a loyalty boost for people that maintained their positions until that day, which is apparently today. So at midnight UTC, the final leaderboard is going to be released, the final snapshot is going to happen, and then the token is probably going to be claimable sometime within the next couple of days. This is coming directly from the Parcel Discord. Next, now that we're already talking about the Solana ecosystem, there is a new liquid stake token coming to Solana called P-Stake. Now these guys already have liquid stake tokens for a bunch of different coins, including BNB, Atom, XPRT, and ETH, and now they're going to be launching on Solana in a couple of weeks. So this is the little roadmap right here. They've just introduced the P-Stake airdrop. They've confirmed that there's going to be a token, and you're going to get PP points based on your activity and the amount that you stake with them. And obviously the more that you do, the more points that you get and the bigger your PP score will be. So you can actually currently go and check to see what your retroactive score is, whether or not you're gonna get a big PP score. And then moving forward, when they actually launch and the Genesis staking is enabled, obviously that'll be the main way to increase your score. So I think it's a funny way to launch. I think the campaign and the memes are solid around this one, and I'll probably allocate a little bit of SOL to it when they actually go live with the staking. Next up, MetaMask launched their very own airdrop eligibility checker within the wallet. So now if you expand on the MetaMask portfolio tab, you can see if there's any airdrops that you should be eligible for. And currently it says that I'm eligible for 2. Wormhole, I already claimed that token, but apparently I'm also eligible for an allocation of DGen. So let's click on this. and see what I'm getting. So if I open it up, it brings me to this page on Warpcast with a little button to claim my degen reward. And apparently I got 1.47 degen tokens out of that, so a couple of cents. Anyways, this is a cool new feature for MetaMask. It makes it easier to track your airdrop allocations, of course, but I wouldn't just rely on this, obviously. Next up, speaking of MetaMask and foxes, this Foxy meme coin on Linea announced some new information on when the token is launching, and that is going to be this Friday, the 12th of April. So this first airdrop is going to be 5% of the total supply allocated to the top 100,000 wallets that used the swaps feature on MetaMask. The snapshot has already occurred and there's no information on the list of wallets eligible, so I guess we'll have to wait until Friday to check. Next up, Zeta Markets, which is a perp dex on Solana, announced some details about their token supply and their airdrop. So they're dropping 10% of the total supply, which is 1 billion tokens, to Zeta users and strategic communities on Solana. So 5% of that supply, or half of the airdrop, is going to people that trade on the platform. 1% is going to strategic communities. Not sure what that means. Maybe it's talking about specific NFT collections. And then 4% is reserved for token stakers. So after you get this airdrop, if you stake it, you'll get additional bonuses. Now, in terms of the snapshot and the timeline, according to them, the snapshot has not yet been taken, so there's still time to rank up with a Z score. If you want to trade on this perp dex, I think it's probably just as good, if not better, than Drift. It's actually a lot simpler, so you still have a chance to rank up the leaderboard, and the snapshot has not been taken. Next up, Monad announced a massive fundraise today of $225 million at a $3 billion valuation. Obviously, this is super bullish for the Monad token when it actually drops, but if we actually open this up and zoom in a little bit to the list of angel investors, there's potentially some hints about other airdrop qualifiers. So Robinson Berkey, which is one of the founders of Wormhole, is on the list. Also, one of the founders of Pudgy Penguins is on the list, and the co-founder of Layer Zero, as well as Taproot Wizards. So this is definitely a little bit of speculation, but we already have thought that by staking the W token, you might get Monad. And apparently by owning a couple of these high value NFT collections, you might also get Monad, and then maybe Layer Zero, or maybe that's completely unrelated. But I have seen some speculation on the timeline today that if Layer Zero drops before Monad, it's possible that by staking the Layer Zero token, you could get a Monad airdrop. This is really pie in the sky, tinfoil hat type of theories, but everyone loves some good speculation. Next up, speaking of Layer Zero, I wanted to mention this, OmniHub.xyz, which is a ONFT multi-bridge powered by Layer Zero, where you can basically bridge a worthless, just procedurally generated NFT to multiple chains simultaneously. Now, you don't have to bridge to all of the chains. You can select which ones you want to go to. But if you're trying to increase your transaction count for Layer Zero and also the destination chains that you've hit, this is another way that you can do it. It's very similar to Merkley's ONFT bridge, but a different smart contract. Now, if you bridge to all 36 of this, and I'm just using Polygon as the example, it's going to cost about 32 cents on Polygon in order to mint each one of these. So you have to do it 36 times and then bridge them as well. So that would be about $11.50 to mint them all. But let's say I'll just mint 5 of them right here, and I selected some of the cheaper chains. That way when I actually go to bridge them, it will save me a little bit of money. And then after minting, I can go to bridge them. For some reason, it's only registering 4 of them. But the bridge fee is only 6 cents. So in total, this is less than $2 that I'm spending to mint and bridge these NFTs. This is generating new transactions for Layer Zero, new destination chains as well if you haven't hit all of these ones. And it's a reasonably cheap way that you can try to farm the Layer Zero airdrop in the final phases of its campaign. Next up, for the mode airdrop, if you're still farming this one, there's a couple of weeks left, probably gonna drop sometime around the end of April. And if you LP into DEXs, you get a 4x boost now. Next up, if you have been farming the block airdrop, which is another one of these gaming and social fi airdrops where you spam comments on Twitter with the ticker symbol block, you can now go actually and check your allocation. So apparently I'm going to be getting 365 X block tokens. I have no idea if that's good or not. I really didn't do too much for this one. So let me know what you're getting and whether or not you think this one is going to be a solid airdrop. I am a little bit skeptical. We'll see. Then moving to the next item on Galaxy, there's a new quest for Orderly. So if you're trying to farm the Orderly airdrop, there's a social task that you can complete and then also a trading task. And they have already confirmed that points on Galaxy will be a direct input to the airdrop. So if you're trying to farm this one, I recommend going and checking out this quest on Galaxy. And then the final thing that I want to mention is that I updated the airdrop farming checklist. So previously I had a list of daily airdrop tasks, about 40 or 50 items on that list of things you can do every day to farm airdrops. And now I've added a weekly or monthly airdrop task checklist, including all of the things that you should be doing depending on how ambitious you are, either weekly or monthly, to farm airdrops. Currently, this is only for Patreon members. And if you're interested in joining the Patreon, it's only $5 per month. It gets you early access to a bunch of my videos. It gets you access to stuff like this checklist. And then you can also join the Discord where we are discussing airdrop alpha every single day. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you found this useful and have a great day.